The Seed Ambassadors Project is a very kind of, how would you say it?
A
What?
bunch of geeks
A bunch of geeks who love
devoting
seeds, who decided to make a little grassroots network to just collect some seeds and do some seed work and seed saving. We were all seed savers to begin with, and Sarah and I were ending a stint at a job, and we decided that we wanted to go travel and maybe travel to Europe. And Sarah wanted to go somewhere warm, and I thought maybe we should go find some seeds, but the seeds that would grow well here are only in Europe or other northern climates. And Nick said, Denmark! You have to go get spinach and kale in Denmark and Germany.
In the winter when it's nice and warm.
Yeah. So, and then he said, oh, and you can go to St. Petersburg, Russia too, where there's only 3 hours of daylight in the winter. And so we decided to do this, and he kind of went and planned a whole bunch of visits and found a bunch of contacts, and we met some people in Europe, and they found more contacts, and we ended up staying there for almost 4 months, just traveling around meeting every single seed steward and seed geek we could find, collecting seeds and giving away seeds. We would show up at every place and just plop down a bunch of seeds and say, we brought a bunch of seeds from Oregon that probably would grow well here that you haven't seen before. And they would check them out and take a few and then run home and run back with their seeds. And it's just really kind of a gifting extravaganza of information and seed and really cool folks that we met. So that's kind of what the Seed Ambassadors Project is. And it's turned out to be kind of a burden in the end because we have thousands of varieties of seed that we have to evaluate and grow. And we're just starting to get to the point where we've grown most of them out, and now the burden is deciding who doesn't get to live on, who's not very suited for our area. So those, it's a strange project that hopefully has a kind of a profound effect on biodiversity in our local little area.
I would just like to say a few things. One is it's been a party, not a burden. And the other one is that first trip was 4 months from the winter of 2006 to 2007. And we've since taken a few other trips pretty much every year since then. We've gone to Romania and Thailand, and this year we'll be going to Italy. So.
Yeah, and for me, I think it was fundamentally many things, but it was definitely an act of liberation. The seed ambassadors and adaptive seeds, open oak farms, and many people who are working along similar lines are very concerned with fundamentally with following a path through the world that's ecologically coherent. It's one of the reasons all the seeds that we steward are open pollinated as distinct from hybrid, and we could maybe get into the sort of specifics of that distinction later. But essentially, open pollinated seeds are seeds that are non-proprietary, that have the capacity to co-evolve with a landscape, that have the ability to, in a sense, learn and become integrated with a local culture, whereas hybrids don't. And what we essentially find is that open pollinated food crops are essentially being stewarded by a very small and narrow constituency globally, for the most part. The vast majority of food crops in our midst are now hybrid. They're owned by very large companies. They're owned by very large multinational global companies. And essentially what the Seed Ambassadors Project was an attempt to do was link up public domain seed stewards on this side of the Atlantic with public domain seed stewards on that side of the Atlantic. Essentially the independence movement. Lovers of truth, lovers of freedom, and who basically serve that interface between human culture, between red-blooded culture and green-blooded culture, which is that sort of interface which is where our food crops and food crop stewardship basically exists.